Hello, everybody. Welcome back to yet another episode of Grief Angels podcast. I am your host, Rose Gishure, where we demystify grief and we normalize grieving. There's a lot of conversations around grief that people are not having, and that's why we exist. And this season, like we say, we're talking about some serious stuff, some personal stuff, some painful stuff, and sometimes even some technical stuff. Our last conversation was on succession, and I hope you enjoyed that episode. For today's episode, we're going to talk about something else that does give us grief that is not necessarily death or death as we know it related, right? We're talking about the other D, the big D, divorce. There's a lot of grief that comes from divorce. There's a lot of people that have gone through divorce or are going through the divorce process, but we don't talk about it. There's a lot of stigma around divorce. Yet you find somebody grieving and you don't know how to help them. So we will touch a little bit on that today. I am joined in studio by a friend of mine who I always call upon very last minute to do episodes, events, and she always says yes. Thank you so much, Faith, for being such a trooper and so just showing up for us when we need you to. Welcome back to Grief Angels.
Thank you.
It's always nice to have you around. And also thank you for agreeing to have this conversation with us. And I know as a therapist, you have seen quite a lot. Especially to do with clients who are probably going through divorce. Maybe talk to us about it. But for me, the biggest question that even as I was thinking about this particular episode was, why is there so much stigma around divorce? Like, why do we look at the happy couple, we go to the wedding, very beautiful day, somewhere down the line, something happens, something breaks, they separate. Now I'm even having to choose sides between my own friends. Mm-hmm. And then out of nowhere, I can't relate with you or you because you've changed as a person. I don't know. Why is there so much stigma around divorce?
It's a lot. First of all, thank you for having me back.
Welcome.
And I think you know the topics to call me for that I'm very passionate about. So even when you call me last minute, I will be here.
Thank
so
you.
I'm glad to be here. Mm-hmm. Divorce. Well, I guess, first of all, it's what has been attached to it. Like, number one, shame. And when you actually think about it, why? People get into jobs and then jobs end. You don't hear people saying, I'm very ashamed that, So, but it's, I don't know, maybe just what the society has made it to look. So there is shame. Mm-hmm. But also one of the things that I don't, when people say something that I have a problem with, because we also say the marriage failed. What does that mean? Of course, then it means that, I'm a failure.
Somebody's a failure.
Yes, exactly. And also, because my question is, does it mean then, as long as your marriage hasn't ended, it is successful? Is that the dichotomy? Mine is failed because we have gone
separated,
through divorce. Yes. But does that, you get, so that one.
And yet you could still be in the marriage, but it's a very unhappy marriage.
Exactly.
Where somebody even dies.
Exactly.
Or is killed from domestic violence and things like that.
Even for this marriage to have come to an end, it means the day before it came to an end, it was not failed.
Yeah.
But true. It was on its deathbed.
Yeah, it really was. It really was.
And then, So maybe those are some of the things that probably even just how we speak about divorce needs to change. So I feel like a big thing
society
of it is the words we use and the shame.
And I know the words we use, like you said, and I know being a very Christian society and one we are told as girls to work our way up towards getting a good education, getting a good job, finding a husband, getting married, having some kids. That's it. Nobody ever says, what if the marriage has problems? What do we do? Nobody ever says, what if he's trying to kill me? What somebody says, I don't know, there's so many what ifs that we don't go into, which now says, yes, society doesn't care about everything else. As long as we've come to the wedding day and that's done, you guys go figure yourselves out.
Yes.
This shame that you're talking about, it goes back to the way we see it as a failure, right? I have friends who are going through divorce. I have friends who've gone through divorce. Even with me, they will not talk to me about it. One of the things that I don't understand is you were unhappy in that marriage. Now you're out of it.
Yes.
Why are you sad? I've seen divorce parties in movies where people come and celebrate and they have a whole party. And it's a good day because you umemwacha huyo mwanaume, Then you're sad.
Yes.
Why are you sad?
I like how you asked that question because logically it makes
what
it
my
makes
mind
sense.
is seeing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Logically is something wasn't working.
Yeah.
Now you're free of it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, so number one, we said just that first of all, the society, how the society views it.
Yeah.
And it by extension, then if I'm not okay with myself, if I'm someone who looks out to people for me to feel either my confidence or anything, then it means that's gonna seep to you. To also seep to me. Yes. That I'll also then carry that shame.
Yeah.
Even though, like you're saying, sometimes like I have really just rescued my life, or like
that's true.
Yeah, or my kids' lives, or whoever else is involved. But yeah, so I think that's a big part of it. But also the sadness is the many other things that divorce comes. The loss is it's many things.
Yeah.
So like you said, your friends, you have they don't know how to relate with you. So, and I know we're going to talk more about this, but there's that. So it's I call them a million little cats.
Oh, that's such a nice way to say it. A million little cats.
Yes, you sleep, you wake up, you think I'm
done with this
one, then another one. Yeah. So it's just that there are so many other things that are attached to that loss. So it's not just that you are in an unhappy space and you've left.
Okay.
That's probably the relief part. And there are people, don't get me wrong, there are people who feel the relief and they can tell you I feel relief. But then they're also sad because of these other things.
Okay. So coming back to you personally, I know you've also gone through divorce, and thank you for sharing your story with us. At what point did you even find the courage to begin to share your story with others? Because like we said, stigma, shame, I don't want to talk about it, leave me alone, let me try and rebuild my life quietly. Let's forget that part of my life. Where do you find the courage to talk about it?
Okay. So first of all, I'm happy now to talk about my story if it helps someone else. And
That's really
from
powerful.
the spaces that I've talked, people have come up and it has helped. So I'm happy to talk about it now.
The more you share your story, the more you help somebody else, the more they get the courage. They get the courage to also
to reach out. And sometimes they might never even reach out, but just to say like, oh, you mean there's another side to this? Because one of the things nowadays people say, oh, you're so happy. I don't tell them you've been divorced. Like, but you're so happy.
Are you supposed to be miserable when you're divorced?
I get that. Well, maybe not, but a lot of people are. To be fair. Okay. So my story.
Let's start with your story.
Yes. The reason why it was even more difficult to talk about it. I'm a therapist.
There you go. Because I was gonna say I have so many questions fast, but let's
start from there. When I got,
you'd think therapists know these things. We know how to.
We can't say a doctor will never get malaria because he's a doctor. So I guess it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So I'm a therapist, and even the reason why I got into therapy. So let me tell you another thing. The reason I got into mental health was because of marriages. I served in a premarital something in church and I loved it so much, and that's how I went into mental health. So you can even see my mental health journey as a psychologist stems from wanting to help couples. Then so that's number one. Number two, serving in church. Me and the ex were still serving in those marriage enrichment groups. We were very high.
You are the couple everybody wants to be.
Exactly. Well, maybe not want to be, but we served diligently. So that was also stigma number two. I'm a Christian, not like a good Christian girl. And we've even been serving in the area of marriage. So that's number one, what I do. Number two, just even my values. So that was a bit difficult. However, so when did I start talking about it? I decided I needed to heal. So I'll also share that my divorce journey, well, I don't know if there are some that can say, mine was nice and easy. Mine wasn't. It was very
a lot of them are
acrimonious.
Not. A lot of them are not.
It got very acrimonious. So I decided that I am going to heal first, right? And even when the parts that I felt I was being bullied or was being, by the other party, I refused. A lot of my friends didn't understand this because they're like, no, but you should do this. You can say something. I did not. I did not. I just buried my head and I decided I am just carrying myself and I want to heal. Also because I'm a therapist and I still need to be there for people.
Yeah, exactly. You have clients that you need to attend to.
Exactly. So all my energy, I tell people all my energy in two areas. Number one, my faith. My faith held me. My faith held me a lot. And then I just focused on healing. So this is interesting. So me, I keep saying my grief, big part of my grief journey, the sadness, took a year.
Oh, that's a lot.
No, that's short. That's very short. That's very, people will tell you. People who have gone through this journey will tell you. So at the beginning of 2022.
Is it sadness or is it anger? I mean, what comes first? Because I think the anger is already there as you're going through the process.
Yes.
Sadness.
It depends. You see now my anger kept being stirred up because it's still, other than the anger of how we have gotten ourselves here, the decisions that the other party has made.
Yeah.
So there's that. But then every day, like as I'm trying to pick myself up, they're still like I'm being kicked to the ground again and again, right?
Yeah.
So anger, I had to deal with it over time and just the decisions that they continued making, right? So I'm talking about the sadness. I think the anger, that one, even maybe till today, maybe there's something I'll remember and I'll feel it. But I'm talking about because let me explain the sadness. The sadness, anyway, I guess it's grief. So anyone maybe who's lost a close person would understand.
Yeah.
It's that, like you feel like that heavy thing in your chest. You are so sad.
Why are you sad?
So okay, let me say for myself, for example. We're just the two of us. We didn't even have kids. So the irony is
the life that you could have had. That's what you're grieving.
We were friends.
Yeah.
We
loss
were
of
together.
A
Yes. We were together a lot of times. I worked from home. He would work from home. Like we spent a lot of time together. So there was that just, your friend is not here, right? Let me tell you, it's so funny because
so
when something good happens, that's the person
you call when you're angry about somebody at work.
Exactly.
Let me tell you what's up to you, who did.
Exactly. So now
loss of that friend, the friendship.
Now the friendship, which then in turn also comes with the loss of routine. Oh, that drove me crazy.
Loss of routine. Yes. I see that now.
Let me tell you, on Sundays, because there was the way Sunday used to go.
I tell people, let me interrupt you there, sorry. I tell people, I've seen so many people break up, and even me myself, when I think I was going through like a breakup, I in fact, I had to get a name for it. I said, the Sunday loneliness will lead you back to the person because we were so busy Monday to Friday. Saturday is your errands day. Sunday, everybody retreats to their families. They're out playing with kids in parks and everything, where in the malls. Everybody's, you who is a coupled person and then now you're not coupled anymore. Sunday goes like, hey, but we were supposed to be watching this movie. We're supposed to go to the, like, it's crazy.
Absolutely.
You'll text Unadu, and you're like, I'm not supposed to be texting this person, but I'm so damn lonely. Okay, sorry to interrupt you, but so loss of friendship, the loneliness, loss of routine.
Well, just to name but a few. And then many other things. But yes, those are the ones. Because the rest, I think
what about, because it's also secondary losses, and that was going to be my next question, because in grief we talk about all the other things you lose on top of losing the person who died. On top of now this marriage that has, what is the word? Because I can't say failed. This marriage that has broken.
So
what is the word?
Down.
Broken
together.
down. Okay.
Any other word.
Any other word but failed.
Yes.
Okay. On top of that, you've mentioned friendship, routine. There's the other losses of, and this is now what we also see on the grief side of losing somebody who, an actual human being to death, is loss of a future that you had imagined with them.
Yes.
And you're feeling now with divorce, is there a feeling of loss of wasted time? Like,
yes. So, I will also say the fact that I'm a therapist, I had an advantage of just some of these things, viewing them differently. So, for example, like that, and a lot of people are like, oh no, we were married. I think that February, when I got served on 5th, that 9th February, we were supposed to have, I think it was supposed to be our 9th anniversary. So let me just say 9 years. So for me, so a lot of people will be like, oh, do you feel like those are 9 years wasted? But I don't look at it that way.
Okay.
I am a different person, the person who entered that marriage and the person who left. And to be fair, I need to say something. To be fair, my marriage was good. That's the thing. People who know us, it's just a funny story. But I enjoyed my marriage.
Okay.
The better part of it.
Okay.
It was mostly good. And I mean, all couples have their issues. But my marriage is good. So I don't feel like they were wasted at all. At all. So, but I know people feel that way. But that's one of the things, like when I'm taking my clients on, I was like, look at the person who entered that marriage and look at the person who's leaving. Yeah. just look at it as a season. Yes, it has come to an end, but they were not wasted. People who have kids even, look at your beautiful children. So yeah, so people do feel like that. But now that's what I'm saying. For me, being a psychologist, I'm able to like just have a better understanding and look at some of these things. So that, to be honest, to be fair, I didn't struggle with that.
Okay.
But the hopes and dreams, yes. You mentioned the hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
Oh, that one. And then I'm not, I don't like change. So
when such big change comes your way,
so that also,
you handle
that was difficult for me, where I had to, you now literally you're changing everything from where you live to it's literally everything. So that was difficult for me as well.
Let's talk a little bit about that. And because you also now as a therapist have seen people who are grieving the death of a human being and how they kind of navigate that or how they don't navigate it. Do you find those two things similar? Did you find yourself when you're grieving the divorce, you mentioned the sadness, do you find yourself stuck or I don't have the energy for anything, I don't want to do this life, I'm just depressed? Do you go through those things? Do people go through those things?
Yes. That's what I was telling you. It's that sadness of like something is sitting on your chest. Yeah. It's so I think maybe not better or worse comparing the two, but some of the differences would be when it's divorce, it's rejection. It's outright rejection. It's not a natural cause that this person is not with you.
Yeah.
So they chose.
Also with death, you don't choose to die most times. More often than not. This person,
and even
has
when you, let's say, quote unquote, choose, it's not about the other person. You're not rejecting someone. It's me and my life, and honestly, I don't feel like But this one is,
I don't want you.
Yes, this one is So so you're going through the sadness, but with also that change of
how can they not want me? What's wrong with them?
Well, yes, but not necessarily that. Is after everything we've been through,
that's true.
How do you make such a decision? So but again, to be fair, because I have encountered both friends and clients who are the ones who left, and the rejection is still the same because they leave because they felt rejected. So most people don't just say, no, it's a sunshiny. So there are people who feel that they left because this person keeps choosing other people. So I left. So it doesn't necessarily matter that. So for me, I'm not the one who filed, but there are people I know who are the ones who left, but still feel the rejection. So it's not dependent on necessarily who left.
Okay. How can I help my friends who are going through this? Because now going back to, they don't want to talk about it. If I talk to them about it, I'm probably triggering them, but I really want to be there for them. How do I support such people? How do we support?
Okay. So first of all, being there, I guess, again, just like normal grief, or the death of a loved one, just being there. I had a friend who stayed with me for 6 months. So even the Sundays I'm saying were lonely, it's not because I didn't have company. It's just that
you were used to something else.
There was a routine. Yes. So being there, she was very practical. Because there are days, I didn't want to cook. I didn't. Thank you.
KFC.
I don't want to cook. I don't, or I don't even think I'd have gone to church. Not because I had a problem with church, but because I needed someone to tell me, hey, wake up. We need, So being...
Also, you don't want to face the world, the church you're talking about, the church community.
Absolutely.
Pointing fingers at you.
So luckily for me, I'd just changed churches, even just before the marriage ended.
A new church.
Yes. New, old. So it's a church I used to go to before, but now people were different.
Got it.
So but you're right. That is also something else which can be very difficult, especially like I told you, we used to serve in church. So it would have been very awkward. But I had just changed to a different church, so at least that was easy for me. And I loved being what's the word? Not noticeable, like just going and I don't know anyone, so just me and my friend, and then leaving. So that was help. So how you can help is that number one, just be there. Be there. When they feel like talking about it, then you can talk about it. Secondly, sometimes people think they know what you need, right? And they don't.
Okay.
So number one of the things people complain about is when after I've gone through the process a little bit further, and I'm sure this marriage is is over. Whether or not I'm the one who left or the other person. But well-meaning people still want us to bring us together. So have you tried counseling? Have you? And what that feels to the person is like you're taking me steps back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what do you do? Ask questions. Okay. Ask what the person needs, right? So this arbitration or people, another one where people want to keep telling you what the other person is doing and how their life is going.
Okay, well, he even found another wife. He's going to a Russia tomorrow.
Yes, even if it's they fell in a ditch. I really don't want to know.
And if I tell you he had an accident, you should be happy about it.
Now that's another thing.
Why are you sad about his accident?
I'll say again, something that helped me as a therapist navigate.
Yeah.
A lot of people who are going through divorce, it's like you wait to hear something. If something good happens to that person, you feel bad.
Sad. Yeah.
If something bad happens, you
good
feel
for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that still keeps you stuck there because then your happiness, your joy, and vice versa is still tied to that person. I kept telling people, I need to dissociate. I don't wish him. I've never. No one person can come here and say I said no.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like I want to be so indifferent about. So if he successes, well and good.
Yeah.
If things don't work out, that's his life. So that's also something else that I'd like to tell people who are going through this journey. Yeah. Don't tie your joy,
your happiness
to the person,
to how they are,
regardless of what they've done, regardless of how you feel they treated you, because you're just tying yourself. I want them to
get stuck.
That it's you who is tying yourself.
Interesting.
If you put that. But yes, those are some of the things that
we can help
friends and
with.
loved ones can do. Yes.
Question. How did your own divorce influence how you serve your clients? Was there a change maybe with the clients you saw before and after the divorce?
A major change.
I figured as much, yeah. Or how has your divorce influenced now how you
therapy,
work? Yeah.
Yes. So, okay, in two ways. Number one, of course, there are specific people who are going through it. More empathy. Now, remember, and this is, I even just feel so ashamed talking about this. Having being a therapist and also being a leader in church. There is a level of, I know I had. And it wasn't pride. I didn't know at the time. Now is when, after you go through divorce, you're like, I don't know anything. I don't know. I'm just going through this life and figuring out like everyone else. But there was a level of some. I thought I knew. Like I thought I knew what the formula was. I thought I knew, right? So as a therapist, yes, there's some theories and everything, but even those couldn't save me, myself, or my marriage.
That's true.
Right? So number one is empathy, because if I have that, I know there's a level of empathy that then I must have lacked. Now
you have,
I have it so much, like I can look in the eyes and I just, before they finish the sentence, I don't finish for them because I'm a therapist, but yes, I get it.
Okay.
I get it. So the level of empathy is higher.
Okay.
Number two, this even I don't even share this much with my clients, right? But sometimes I'll self-disclose and say I've also gone through this journey further along. I don't even, not session 1 or 2, there's further along. But I do that just for them to see there's another side of it.
That's true.
Right?
That's
so
true.
Two things. Number one, you like for them to be like, okay, even you, if you
went through this,
like
exactly, and
exactly.
if you actually got here, okay,
so those
then
two
that
things.
means I can also get there.
Yes. So just so that those are the reasons. So no, that's for the people specifically going through this. But also this process has changed me. Well, I don't know if it's changed me. I don't know what to say, but I feel like I've come to myself more. I show up more authentically.
I hear women say that a lot after divorce.
And I can explain. But
I hear that so much. And I'm like, because it also goes back to something that people like to say about women lose themselves in the marriages.
Unfortunately.
So when you go, now you're no longer married, you kind of rediscover yourself anew. And you're like, who is this person? I'm in the gym. I was never in the gym. I am out having cocktails. This was never me. People actually are interested in me. So you kind of rediscover yourself. And it's also exciting, confidence building. So,
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yes. So
the fact that also, I think it's the thing about time. It's not like the biological clock. It's the 9 years or whatever amount of years that you are with the person. You kind of don't want to have to go through that again. So now you're spending every moment very presently very alive, very, I'm in this moment.
That's true. And in addition to that is, like I said, the grief is intense. It's so intense. So I remember, so I went through this. I think the signs of the marriage breaking started like in October of 2021. So October to December, it was still like
back and forth.
Yes, then now January is when to do everything. Just we went separate ways, and legal process started in February, and by May it was done. So that's also another thing. 3 months, that takes 90 days.
That's a short time.
It was. At the time, people thought, oh, that must be so traumatic. And it was, but it was also very liberating for me. In fact, I am grateful that my process took that short, because then...
Some others take very long.
They do. And as long as you're in that process, you're still tied to mentally, that process. So I remember, so that ended around, so the final decree was given, I think in June. Right? And then, so July, I remember starting from July and August, feeling... it's been so long since you felt happiness, right? But I've always laughed, even through the happiness, even through the grief. But you're laughing, but your soul is still very down. So I remember, the first time, I think it was around July. I'm like, I feel like I didn't even know what to call it. I kept telling my friends, like, I feel alive. That's the word I kept saying. I couldn't recognize happiness. I'm like, I feel alive. And then now, so this is the reason I'm saying it becomes quite something. The showing up as me now is, it's like finding this happiness after such a dark period.
100%.
You hold on to it, so like,
you
like,
don't let it go. I'm gonna protect this.
Exactly.
Okay. Let's talk about rebuilding, because now you found your aliveness and that happiness.
Yes.
How would you guide, how do you rebuild your identity post-divorce? Because you are Mrs. So-and-so, or husband of so-and-so, or the wife of so-and-so. That has now gone, right? And we were in places where people are addressing Mrs. Nanis, Mama Utusalimie, so how do you rebuild your identity post-divorce?
Let me tell you, when I was talking about the A Million Little Cats, the first time you fill a form and you have to check.
These Kenyan forms that are so triggering.
So if you ever see someone in the bank and just start crying, just know. That's one of those things. So it's not easy. But the thing is, once you do it once, you grieve it and then you move on to the next one. I think that's the thing. Because that's the thing. Because they are significant things, but when you actually think about it, you can get, and especially if you're in therapy, you have good support system. So then you have to start remembering that this is an identity is many things. Is when I had to take my car for service for the first time. It's like I don't.
What is it? Mechanic anasema kuna nini imeharibika. What are you talking about? Speaking English.
That I remember I had to look for a house by myself. Okay, and it wasn't. And this is the thing. Even when I say, even like taking my car to them, I had a band of brothers around me, and they told me what to do, and they were like, even if you need, I'll come with you. But it was
never your job to do it. It was somebody else's job.
Exactly. So even that, to look for a house. So it's first coming to terms with that. You look this side and this side. It's like, oh, okay, wait, that it's me. I'm the one who. And even if you were doing these things, so like I remember, even like for looking for the house, like I would before, it's the house we were living with someone, so the opinion
counts.
Yes. But now it's all my, I have friends. I can say it, but like I'm the one who's going to live with it, and so. It's a journey. It's a journey. I must say it's a journey. But every day, I don't know. Like yesterday is not, today is not yesterday. It's not the day.
It changes every day.
Yeah. So if you're present, you will actually notice how far you are going. And of course, if you have also a support system.
Okay.
But I also tell you something else for me that worked. I had a lot of friends before I got married, and
that you kind of leaned on.
The ones who are mutual friends when we were married, some stayed, some couldn't, and for whatever reasons,
they have to choose a side.
They had to choose, or some just said, "I don't want to choose." So
I won't deal with any of the two of you.
But I had my, now solid people, and those kept reminding me that was such a valuable asset for me. They kept reminding me who I was.
That's good to hear. My last question, as we close, I've gone through divorce. I'm rebuilding. I'm finding myself. Then I find someone and I'm now dating. When it's too soon to start dating somebody else, or I never ever want to date. I could be on either side.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What would you tell those people?
Okay, so first of all, just watch. There can be a tendency to actually attach too quickly, right?
Rebound is what we call it.
Yes, rebound. Yeah. And also, this is coming from a point of rejection. So the first someone who takes an interest in you, or
you kind of cling on to them.
And also remember, you said when we get divorced, there's somehow we look better, we feel so
like glow.
Yeah, so number one, that. I don't know. I don't think it's when you said too soon is how soon is too soon. I don't think it's a passage of time. It's the work
that you need to
do. That you're doing. Yes.
Good. I like that.
Yes. Yeah. It's just are you working on yourself? Because you will bleed on people, my friend. If you don't,
you will hurt people. Hurt people.
Absolutely. Yeah. And for those who say they'll never want to do it again.
Never want to be in a relationship or date again.
Hopefully they feel like that. But I wouldn't. It would be very unfair for something that happened in your relationship to continue. To continue. Having that
to
much
hold you
power
back from holding from other beautiful things that would come your way if you allowed yourself.
Absolutely. And I think we have
final words to the audience and to our community. What would you want them to know about divorce? How important is it having a therapist? All those things. So close for us our session.
Okay. All right.
What's the takeaway that you're leaving us with?
Yeah. It's no one gets married and with the hope that they will end up in divorce. And I guess for most of us we don't think about it. And it's good. If I'd thought about divorce when I was married, I'd probably not have enjoyed it. Yeah. So it's but when it happens, acceptance is very important. Let's accept it. Like I said, I'm a therapist, I'm a psychologist, and I'm here. So don't feel like it chose me, because that's also something that's like, why me? It is what it is. So just learn from what you can glean from the experience. Take time to heal. See a therapist, please. Please walk with someone. Please walk with someone. You
don't have to do it alone.
Yes. And then the other thing is knowing that those triggers will be there, and it's okay. There's someone who once told me that it came for time for them to clean shoes and they started crying because it's a spouse who used to clean this. So it will be very small things. So, and it's okay. You cry as you clean those shoes, and
the
then
next time you won't cry. You become used to it.
Exactly. Okay. And the final one, there is another side. There's so much joy and happiness if you do the work.
That is so good.
There is. You can be happy again. I wouldn't even say you can find love again. That's up to you if you want. I hope you do. But there is joy. If you do the work. Joy does not have to be attached to the person. Finding someone.
And finding somebody.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Faith, for such powerful conversations. I cannot wait to have you back on this seat to discuss something else. But you've had it from Faith, a very unique guest who is not just a therapist, but also has gone through what she's talking about and how she helps her clients now. So if you do need help, we'll definitely attach Faith's contacts if you need to reach out to her. Like she said, you need a support system. You need to work with somebody. You don't have to go through it alone. But the most important thing is you will find joy if you do the work. Thank you so much for staying with us. This is Grief Angels. Watch out for the next episode. Bye.